Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Pensacola International Superspeedway. It is time for some heat racing. 5 heats, 35 drivers each. Top 5 advance to the main event. Bottom 5 are eliminated from contention. They will not get to race in the last chance qualifier. We'll have 5 last chance qualifier events, 25 cars each. Top 3 advance in those. We'll get to that later in the race weekend. Random starting grid here for the heat races. Logan Alexander on pole with Stefan Alexander on his outside. So the Alexanders on the front row. What a coincidence. Henry Sanford, Deanna Jones row 2. Austin Athens, Adam Flickinger row 3. Patrick Franklin, Keith Kent, Fisher Miller, Leaf Magnus row 4 and row 5. I'm joined once again by Vince Freeze as we get the command to go racing.
All right, they crank him up here. This is interesting, Zach. One of the keys to this race, obviously, is lap 2 to 4. Stay out of trouble. I think that's going to be when the big one occurs. There's no yellows. And where do you want to be? I think early in the game, you want to be in one of these first 2 rows. I just don't think anything past there is safe, especially with it being sense of urgency from the get-go. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you just got to go for it, and you got to try and get to the front, hold the front. You want to be top 5. Remember, there's no cautions, so we could have a crash. There's enough cars, in my opinion, for that to happen. And, yeah, like, you don't want to be in the crash because then you have that chance of being eliminated and not even having a chance at the LCQ. Want to mention real quick before we go racing that Dante Montgomery was moved from Group 2 to Group 1 because Logan York and Eric Greene locked on the front row. Green flag is out. The Alexanders lead us to the green in heat number 1.
The orderly start. And as always, you don't want to be the bottom 5 either. So finishing 6, it's not the worst thing compared to finishing last.
Yeah, 31st to 35th, you do not want to be in that range. Clouds have come over here in Pensacola, 75 degrees, and the wind has really picked up. As Deanna Jones and Stefan Alexander get a huge run on the outside.
Well, 4 wide action a little bit. Looks like it's going to happen. It's Adam Flickinger way outside.
And that wind is 15 mile an hour directly in the north direction. And that is really going to affect these cars going one way and then going the other.
Look at this, Zach. The 2-car tandem is back.
Alexander and Jones are making it work as we have had a crash.
There it is.
Nicholas Henshaw.
Oh,
Jesse Turner piles in. Bobo Jones, Andrew Gardner. Leaf Magnus is going to pile it in further.
Oh, we've got a freeze flip counter already.
Bobo Jones up and over. And Bobo probably could have kept it going, but Magnus just took himself and Bobo out of this thing. Priya McShane with heavy damage. Brett Moma, Ellison, Adam Flickinger, and more. We will look at the accident after the race is over. But that has separated the pack big time here on only lap number 2.
What is it, like 11 cars, I think, to settle this out? I think
11, almost 14. Those 3 in the back there. Richard Johnson, Will Parrish, Henrietta Fitzwater. Or not, is that Henrietta Fitzwater? Yes.
Oh.
As Andrew Gardner is very slow, is still trying to work his way back to pit road.
And that's the thing, Zach. Even if you were in that accident, getting going might be the difference between making it, staying alive, versus good night.
Oh, Leaf Magnus, what are you doing?
Oh boy. Is he still on track? Let's see.
Ellison, Robert Pollard, Adam Flickinger are going to zoom past this guy. As Andrew Gardner is also on track, limping about.
Oh boy, please.
Please get to pit road.
And we're gonna have us. Let's just hope everyone stays out of the way.
They are 3-4 wide here in this pack.
Come
Oh,
on,
I don't know
Andrew.
if he's going to get down in time.
Oh man, this is 4. Come on.
Oh, and he is just going to get out of the way.
Oh,
Oh, it got me heart racing already in the
need
heat
some Pepto
racing.
Bismol, bro. Need some Pepto Bismol. But here we go. Dante Montgomery, the Heat 2 fast man. How about that?
Montgomery, Austin, Athens, Patrick Franklin, Logan Alexander, and the 67 of Titus Marciniak were top 5 that time by at the line. And we're seeing who will likely be done. Andrew Gardner is showing up 31st. Other drivers on pit road include Owen Crafton, Bobo Jones, Nicholas Henshaw, and Jesse Turner. And this is why you had to be aware of this stuff going into these heat races. If you got wrecked, you're likely done.
Leaf Magnus, man. Just limping it around is going to save himself to live another day. That's the only important thing, right? Even if you get into that accident, at least you tried to
Well,
limp it back
it could
down.
also depend on the pit stalls because those 4 at the bottom right now are getting towed around to their stalls, so they could retire and jump some of those guys. Magnus is showing 30th, Priya McShane 29th, and Brett Moma 28th.
4 wide for the lead. Look at this.
They are getting crazy up here. Keith Kent going to the top as Jones already back up to second. It is indeed a 14-car group up here for the top 5 transfer spots as these drivers got separated by the wreck, and they are just going to have to be thankful that they are going to get in to the LCQ. Zach Flickinger, Brad Lewis, Samet Oskin, Trey Smith, some decent-sized names right there. Adam Flickinger limping it around in 27th. Robert Pollard, James Ellison, Sam Young. Still crazy 4-wide racing going on around here, though.
That north wind, man, I'm telling you, I think it's one end of the speedway is calm, and then this one's crazy. So here we go for the lead, though. It's Keith Kent.
Well, just look, they come off of turn 4 and they speed up a lot. They're going 223 and they get it all the way back up to 233.
234, wow.
They hold so much more speed through turns 1 and 2 than they do. Heck, they're speeding up in the corner, Vince. The north wind must be like right across the front straightaway in turns 1 and 2 because they speed up to about 233. And now we're seeing those other drivers retire.
Oh, boy.
And none of them jumped up. So it's official. The 72, 670, and 230 will get a chance in the LCQ. But Andrew Gardner, 62 of Nicholas Henshaw, 120 Owen Crafton, 890 of Bobo Jones, and 89 of Turner are all done in this event. Now we can focus on the race for the top 5 as Stefan Alexander is leading there at 2 to go.
Right, everyone's trying to place themselves alert for not just this race, but possibly a 300. Keith Kent.
Oh, and the wind is definitely making it a wild card because you get onto the back straightaway and go into turn 3 and it just slows you up so much. And when you're in the draft, it is very easy to avoid that wind. It's all hitting the lead car. This has kind of made it a bit of a free-for-all here in the heat race.
It's like a parachute, but white flags out. Keith Kent leads at the line. Can he lead the last lap as we go 3 wide?
Patrick Franklin and Austin Athens 3 wide with him for the lead.
I thought it was Athens, but it's all good.
Athens, I don't know.
It doesn't matter, though. Let's see if that one car can put a P1.
That's Will Parrish in the 1. He won at Talladega in the Jerky Pro Truck Series.
No, it looks like that's going 4 wide. Look at this last lap.
Deanna Jones and Fisher Miller. Athens will jump down with Keith Kent. This is
Deanna,
for
she's
the
moving.
win. Top 5 is what's going to matter. Jones is 3rd, Miller 4th, Parrish is fifth almost.
Kent got it.
Kent got it, and they were 4 wide for 5th place. And Miller got it.
How about Thriller Miller on that?
Miller by 15 one-thousandths of a second over Marciniak. 24 over Alexander. And 39 over Patrick Franklin. Talk about a finish for heat number 1.
That was fun, man. That was, even though that wreck took out a lot of people, the battle for the lead with the wind has definitely played a role.
And that makes heat 1 official. So Keith Kent, Austin Athens, Deanna Jones, Will Parrish, Fisher Miller, all advance. We're going to take a look at that wreck. Taking a look at the accident that occurred on lap 2. I think it starts here with Jesse Turner and Leif Magnus. And it's just typical 4 wide gone wrong at Pensacola. They were 3 wide. They had a chance to straighten everything out there, but contact was made and nobody had anywhere to go. Oh, it looked like the 72 was airborne when, who was that? The 120 got into him. And it was just on. 23 gets spun there. I think that's the 23 or the 230. Can't get a read on him. Yeah, it's 230 of Brett Mulma. Bobo, Henshaw, and Gardner got clipped after the fact. And then we saw Magnus just straight up drilled Bobo Jones. And Turner had nowhere to go here. It looked like he was going to be able to keep going, but he gets into Andrew Gardner. A little bit of weird bouncy shenanigans going on here. But you see Bobo turning it around. Oh, and then he gets stuck on the apron. And Magnus just drilled him. Didn't even care. Flip Bobo over. Vince Freeze flip counter. First flip counter of the year, 2022.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I think, Zach, that lives will get on board. I think the key... Look at this again here.
Want to see what caused these 3 to get clipped and turned.
Ooh, on the apron.
Let's take a look at this.
Little domino effect.
Well, Bobo had already gotten clipped, but Gardner turned Henshaw up the track coming off the apron. That's what got these guys involved. And ultimately, it took out, I believe, all 3 of them out of the race and out of the event. Yeah, those guys nailed the wall. They were all done. Especially after Gardner got hit by Turner.
You see Turner right there coming in.
But let's see if we had an onboard here from anybody in this heat race. On board with Jesse Turner. And that's the end of Turner in the Crown Royal 300. Getting ready for heat number 2 here at Pensacola International Superspeedway. The wind has died down just a teensy bit and changed direction. We'll see how that affects the racing here in heat number 2. Paddle Rule and Blaine Saylor on the front row. Chris Henry, James Qualls, row 2. Pat Johnson, Alan Bleck, row 3. Chris Wilson, Elijah Myers, row 4. With Max Harbour and RJ Reynolds in row 5. Wilson is a former Last Chance qualifier winner. We'll see what he can do here in his heat race. As we had, of course, Vince, that early wreck in the first heat. And that made things pretty interesting at the front with all the wind stuff going on. We'll likely still see some of the same of that here in this heat. But yeah, Command is about to be given. Let's go trackside. Man, same command as the first heat race. Got to give that guy props for the oxygen levels over there.
For sure. And let's start early, Zach. Like I said, lap 2 to 4, same deal. Obviously, we got the former car at 27 in this field. See if 27 of quals can get it done. And let's see where the big one strikes. Do we see it as a mid-pack? Dylan Young's here. A lot of stacked names in this one.
Dylan Young, cool Papa Bell there in the 840. James Bell. Matt McIntyre. Tony Greene. Mohammed Saint Abdullah. Allison Rain. Stephen Colon. RJ Reynolds, etc. So now the question is, being mid-pack 4 wide was not the way to be, so you might get lucky if you're at the back, even if you don't get to keep contending, stay in the main pack and contend for that top 5 transfer spot. If you can survive and finish top 30, you'll be in the LCQ.
3 flags as we already have some 3 wide. And they're really going 4 wide right off the bat.
4 wide right off the bat, indeed. They are on madness here in heat number 2. I want to say last year we had 1 or 2 of our heats go without a wreck. We had, I believe, 3 heats last year. It was a bit of a smaller field. We only had 103 entries. We did top 10 for qualifying and all that crazy stuff. But they are already 3-4 wide up front here. I don't know, with the size of these heats, if we will be able to go caution free, especially with the conditions.
Yeah, I think it's, and then here we go, 4 wide. We'll have to watch that.
Harbor leads at the line. There is 2 instances of 4 wide back there in the middle. They are going 238, if not faster. They are zooming even more here in this one, Vince.
Yeah, we're getting levels of IndyCar speed here. I think this is the new Northeast win is Mohammed Zain takes the lead. Oh my God, there's going to be a mess when we get into turn 1.
I think the Northeast wind is going straight down the front straightaway, so it's slowing these guys way down the back, but it is pushing the heck out of them down the front. You see, you come right around here. Look at the speed go right up to 228 from 223 at the entry of the corner. 235 at the start-finish line for Mohammed Saint Abdullah. So there's the other 26, the 260 of Weston Roper, trying to make the field alongside Fisher Miller. If you're just joining us, Heat 1, Keith Kent, Austin Athens, Deanna Jones, Will Parrish, Fisher Miller, all advancing. Andrew Gardner, Nicholas Henshaw, Owen Kraft, and Bobo Jones, Jesse Turner eliminated. Now 3 wide here at the front between Roper, Sankala, and Moore. As we are still somehow clean and green. Now remember, no yellows even if they wreck. But we had a scary moment in Heat 1 with Andrew Gardner limping it around back to pit road.
I'm not going to lie, Zach, they're doing a pretty good job even with the 4 wide.
I was waiting for that to be the jinx right there. Dennis Moore first, Vargas second, Dean Jr. third. And there's Chris Wilson. The car he drove last year has been eliminated. Nicholas Henshaw was driving it. So can Wilson get in a different car this year? David Byers in the 990. Yates Tursick in the 490. You know, last year, Vince, we only had 103 entries. 177 this year. There is chances for cars that have never been driven in this event before to make the event.
It's getting scarier than Halloween back there, Zach.
Oh, it's 3 different 4 wides. Oh, I'm surprised Mohammed Saint Abdullah didn't hook. I believe that's Daniel Brown in the 57. They were not even 4 wide at all. I am surprised they didn't just wreck it right there. 4 wide at the back of the field. That's Tony Greene and Mohammed Saint Abdullah. Oh, a little contact between Nicholas Jawid and Alan Bleck.
Man, we staying alive out here, but let's see what we got at the front. It's David Byers looking for second.
Still Travis
in the
Dean.
lead.
Still leading it. Wilson has been shuffled back. 5 laps down. 5 laps to go. 2:37 in the turn 1. And I'll tell you what, I think the wind being more direct along the back and the front of these cars might be saving them. But I think it's a matter of time, Vince.
Desperation's coming. Is that Dylan Young? Yeah, that's him.
Dylan Young. Oh, he's going to get put 4 wide by Blaine Saylor. He's getting a big push.
Said, sail you later.
By Jeff Jones, and I think we had a crash. Yes, we did. Max Harbor, James Qualls, Alan Bleck, Pato O'Rule, Louis Sankala, Allison Rain, Muhammad St. Abdullah, Weston Roper, Yodel, Henry McIntyre, Nicholas Jaweet. With 5 laps to go, it happened there in the middle of 1 and 2. You see the skid marks. So they didn't wreck down the front straightaway, Vince, but they wrecked it in the corner.
That's typical, man. How about Travis Dean, though? Still hanging on.
Oh, no. I'm worried about this because of the line these drivers will take for the panic. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, that stacks up a lot of drivers. Lane Sanders, Alex Ramps, Chris Wilson, Jody Webb, Josh King, all stacked up from that. Sankala made it down and stayed out of the way, but that was almost disastrous. That's going to take those drivers out of a chance to advance, Vince. But it won't take them out of the event, so they will have to get in on that LCQ now. But that is an unfortunate circumstance.
Caterpillar versus Pepsi at the front. Let's see if we get some more sponsors in the front. But right now, it's like...
Rain, Paddle Rule, and Sankala have all retired. The 620 of Alan Bleck has retired. So both of the 62s are done and gone. We'll see if Qualls, Harbor, or Jaweet jump them on the toe or not. But they are running out of time here. They might not even get the toe. There's only 2 laps to go here. So we are going to focus on this top 5 race. It's Dean Jr., Dennis Moore, Daniel Brown, R.J. Reynolds, and now Dylan Young looking for 5th. As there's only 15 drivers fighting for this now. After 5 of them were separated, 6 of them actually were separated. Josh King is on pit road. Not sure if there was a separate incident, perhaps with that lap car. There might have been. We'll have to take a quick peek and see if there's anything worth covering. But white flag is out. Moore leads at the line, but here comes Daniel Brown, Dylan Young, Blaine Saylor.
Getting spicy at the front now.
Talked about Dylan Young being a 2-time top 5 finisher in the Crown Royal 300. Does he have a chance to win this heat? Or does he have to resort to pushing Daniel Brown? They're going to be 4 wide. Young might not even make it.
Comes Pat Johnson on the inside and others.
Christian Vargas is going to take 5th from Dylan Young. Race for the heat win is on. Brown, Moore, side by side at the start-finish line. It's Daniel Brown.
Oh, man, we would have had a problem in one more lap.
Dylan Young falls to 7th, and he'll have to go to the last chance qualifier. Alex Ramps and Josh King also retired after the fact. That might have been from damage of running into each other from the Alan Bleck incident. But Muhammad St. Abdullah was about to get caught, and that would have made things very interesting. Once again, Vince, the margin is 15 one-thousandths of a second for the heat win. That is quite the coincidence. Difference between Vargas and Pat Johnson for 5th is 39 one-thousandths of a second. Results are official. Sinkala, Blett, Qualls, Joey, and Harbor are eliminated. Brown, Moore, Bell, Cool Papa Bell made it in. Blaine Saylor and Christian Vargas are the 5 to advance here in heat number 2. We will take a look at this race replay. I'm trying to find the... Let's go take a look at that accident. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Muhammad Zain Abdullah, Alan Black, they are 4 wide. Harbor and Jawit are also 4 wide in the middle. Everything looked like it was going to be fine. They went into the corner. Oh, right here, they turned down into Qualls and O'Rule. Oh, and Qualls is going to go right up the track into Jawit. Nowhere to go. Oh, man.
Make the... Ooh.
Hard licks for all involved. Qualls' car came off the ground. Wasn't sure if he was going to get launched up into the catch fence or not there. So everybody slides down the track. Rain, Roper, and Mohammed would drive away. Other drivers not so fortunate. Let's see if anybody runs into anybody here. It looks like... Oh, yep. This happened right here. That is Sinkala getting run into by Bleck and Pat O'Rule, and then Jawit gets turned around. Now let's speed this up here. See what Alan Bleck caused after the fact.
Boots up the track. And...
Pack is coming. And he's only going 107. Lane Sanders, you see, he really hits the brake here, but King's going to get in the ramps. And then ramps got pushed into Wilson. And I think these drivers just came down pit road the lap after of their own accord. Yeah, and they said they had had enough. Let's take an onboard with James Qualls. On board the 27 of James Qualls. He had no idea. No idea. Oh, man. Well, that's a tough break for Qualls, getting eliminated here in heat number 2. Let's take you guys to heat number 3. Getting ready for heat number 3. Jeff Leffler on the front row with Jacob Athens. Athens? I'm so done. Athens, whatever. John Wesley Allen, Chris White, row 2. Mikey Red, Savannah Sawyer, row 3. Jonathan Zorlin, big name in this heat race with Jordan Whaley in row 4. And then Kev Shearer and PJ Vidal in row number 5. All right, Vince, we got Delon Ibrahimian in here. We got Trevor Collins in that 48. Alexander Rowe, RJ Bishop, Brittany Moden, Bradley Ream, Gatlin Downey, Charles Sanford, William Flickinger, and more. I'm assuming we're expecting another crash.
Same deal, lap 2 to 4. Came a little later the last race. Let's see if we have that same trend. We also have a different degrees of temp and wind change as well.
Yes, the temperature has gone up to 76 degrees. The wind has changed direction again to east, and it's down to 10 miles an hour.
Drivers, start your engines!
So that wind speed going down a little bit. Just kind of calming down over here, which is good for these race cars because they are being heavily affected by the wind. You saw it especially there in that last race. So now with the east wind, Vince, I believe we'll see the biggest push come to these cars from tailwind going through turns 3 and 4. especially coming out of 4, and then going through turn 2 is going to be the worst.
Yeah, it's going to be more unstable with the draft. I think this is one of those heats where not only starting up front's important, but understand the side draft. There only can be a difference between top 5 or finishing 6th.
If you're just joining us, the drivers that have advanced so far from Heat 1, Keith Kent, Austin Athens, Deanna Jones, Will Parrish, Fisher Miller from Heat 2, Daniel Brown, Dennis Moore, James Bell, Blaine Saylor, Christian Vargas. Eliminated Andrew Gardner, Nicholas Henshaw, Owen Crafton, Boba Jones, Jesse Turner, Luis Sankala, Alan Bleck, James Qualls, Nicholas Jawit, and Max Harbor. As pretty uniformed here at the front for Heat 3, Vince, on the start.
Yeah, Jeff Leffler takes that nice early lead, and I think it's about just understanding to win this first lap, see where it's at. Because I don't see anything crazy, but that's going to change in a second.
Right here is where that wind will give these cars a push. Not as big of a push as we've seen in the past heat races, so definitely dying down a little bit. But Leffler will lead him and still hit 233 at the start-finish line.
Yeah,
Right.
no crazy 4 wide just yet. It's just very calm chaos as you see 233, 234. About what we think is going to happen.
Right here, that's where that wind's really kicking in. Leffler leads. John Wesley Allen will make a move for the top spot. Zorlin right there in 3rd. Levi Hayes and Jacob Athens. That's your top 5 as Trevor Collins is right there in 6th. Now, it would be something if both Collins and Zorlin advanced in this heat.
A little nostalgia for real, but how about Leffler, man? 3 in a row for the laps led.
We're not seeing a lot of changes really here at the front of the field either. These guys are holding their own at the front. And here comes the 4 wide now. 91 driven by Mike Manford. That car won this event back in 2019. It was driven by Gary Barlow. So another car that's a past winner trying to make the event.
We'll see a couple more on the inside coming through the front.
It's RJ Bishop up to 3rd. Kyler Anderson looking for 4th. And Ream is 5th on that inside lane. But Jeff Leffler and John Wesley Allen just seem to be hooked up. RJ's going to try and separate that. Move to the inside. But
Yeah, RJ just said. Yeah,
so far, it seems to be difficult to get to the front. Vince, go ahead on what you were going to say.
RJ just said, I'm going to need to take that Slurpee and run. But I think this is one of those situations where the front car seems to have a lot of power in controlling the lines and dictating the race, kind of like the Pied Piper.
This car seems to be hooked up, Vince. This is something we haven't seen in any of the heats so far. And they are not going too crazy either. So we'll hit lap 5. This is the lap we wrecked in the last heat race.
Seems the east wind is really calming these guys down. There's no major shuffling, and everything seems calm.
Leffler still leads. RJ Bishop is 2nd. Billy Kidd is up to 3rd. Zachary DeLello and Andrew James roll up on the bottom. Billy Kidd's going to make a move on RJ for 2nd. Ream. Is that Ream? Or is it the other 33? It's the other 33. Andrew James, is going to make a move there. Those 33 schemes, I don't know how you even could call them similar. They're not. Oh, what a dart to the bottom that was. Winnie Calhoun. 860 of Zach Campbell. So we're on the lap 6. Could this be the heat race where we don't have an accident? Because they are nothing but 3 wide right now, Vince.
Not only that, but is this the heat race where someone actually leads every lap? Just one driver? Might be.
Jeff Leffler has led every lap so far. Charles Sanford is creeping up into the picture. Winnie Calhoun is trying to set something up here.
Needs a little bit more help from the friends, but I think Leffler's going to have much of a run to keep this lead for another lap.
They are getting a little wild in the back. 4 laps to go. Still clean.
Sanford has the fastest
There's
lap.
the
Here's the move.
Leffler put to the top by Winnie Calhoun. Zach Campbell right behind them. Now, can Leffler do anything to get back to the bottom? Because he seems to have the strongest car.
Pack looks separated, but they haven't wrecked. I think it's just spacing.
Campbell and Calhoun clear top 2. Charles Sanford trying to find a way to get to the top 5 here. Leffler trying to hold his own on the outside. He's about to fall to 5th if Sanford gets by. Chris White is ready on the bottom. On a move by the 140 of Parker Smith for 2nd. That's going to stick the 860 in front of Jeff Leffler. But because these drivers have kept it clean, Vince, you got to be looking at the back of that pack. 31st to 35th. This could be the first heat race where a clean car gets eliminated.
Man, they're looking pretty aggressive here, though, with 2 to go.
Sorlin's on the outside, right behind Charles Sanford.
3 wide, 4 wide.
Kev Shearer is going to make it 4 wide because Manford is going to move up the track. Calhoun still leads.
Kev ain't triggered here. He's looking for that win.
And Kev Shearer,
got a heck of a run.
Kev Shearer has won at this track before in the Digital Storm Cup Series. He knows his way around this track. He's got 2 top 5 finishes here. White flag in the air. Can he finish top 5 or did he get shuffled here? Oh, he played the draft game perfectly. He's still in 2nd.
Here comes Athens. Looking to say Greece is on top today.
Jacob Athens, Austin Athens in the 16 made it through Heat 1.
He won the thing, I think, right?
No, he finished 2nd.
Oh, he finished, that's right.
Photo finish, though. Chase Christ is coming up on the bottom. There's Levi Hayes. Trevor Collins in the 48, trying to make a last dash for it. Athens, I mean. He's going to make a move for the race lead. Christ, Hayes, Kev Shearer. Kev Shearer might not get 5th. Collins is right there. Athens got it. He got it. And Kev
got 5th.
Kev hold on to 5th. What a finish for Heat 3. 3/1000ths of a second for Jacob Athens.
Jeff Leffler, man, he felt like a rock.
Winnie Calhoun 2nd, Chase Christ 3rd, Levi Hayes 4th, and Kev Shearer edges out Trevor Collins by 29/1000ths of a second. Oh, and they wrecked after the race is over. That's Mikey Red, Gatlin Downey, Billy Kidd, and more. Jeff Leffler. Leffler will get to keep it going, though. He finished 27th. RJ Bishop, Bradley Ream, final car in.
Sorlin misses out.
And
wow.
Sorlin has been eliminated. Kyler Anderson, Billy Kidd, Alexander Rowe, and William Flickinger will join him.
That's a big story right there.
That
a
is.
big name.
He was at the front with 2 to go, and he got put 4 wide. And it just dropped him all the way to the back, Vince, because there was nobody up there to draft with him. And that is a heartbreaking thing to see. Zorlin done after his heat race.
And part of the game, unfortunately, and Zorl's going to have to take the short end today.
Well, that'll do it for us for Heat 3, and we will see you guys in a little bit for Heat number 4. A little bit for us is about a couple of minutes. A little bit for you is going to be about 2 seconds. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're gearing up for Heat race number 4, and coincidentally, Aaron Abel is on the pole after a random draw. He's got Corey Raymond to his outside, Darian Ton and Zachary Fitzwater Sr. row 2, Peter Onjak, Ron Bishop, row 3, Daniel Dill and Wade Pruitt, row 4, with Sheldon Russell and Carter Joey, row 5. Other drivers to look out for in this one: Stephen Pollard III, Landon Smith Jr., Mitchell Collins driving the 99, which won the 2016 Pizza Hut 300, Ryan Brommer, Roy Ribbleton, Joshua Teppensaw won a heat race last season, Alex May, as I can't seem to get off this row, Amanda Evans, Super Speedway Extraordinaire in the Digital Storm Cup Series. Cara Bell won at Pensacola this past year in the Digital Storm Cup Series. You got Max Anderson, Zachary Bilson, and Keith Rich. So I think we're going to need a new microphone for the Heat 5 command. I'm pretty sure that guy just blew it out.
All right, here we go. Another heat. Let's see how organized we are, or how chaotic we get. Same thing. Lap 2 to 4 could be the big one, or we could be going clean these second race in a row.
Just to recap, if you're just joining us, going to do this before the start of every heat. Heat 1 and Heat 2 had accidents. Heat 1s came on lap 2. Heat 2s came on lap 5. Heat 3 went clean to the finish. Heat 1 advancees: Keith Kent, Austin Athens, Deanna Jones, Will Parrish, Fisher Miller. Heat 2, Daniel Brown, Dennis Moore, James Bell, Blaine Saylor, Christian Vargas. Heat 3, Jacob Athens, Winnie Calhoun, Chase Christ, Levi Hayes, Kev Shearer. Eliminated: Andrew Gardner, Nicholas Henshaw, Owen Crafton, Bobo Jones, Jesse Turner, Louis St. Cala, Alan Bleck, James Qualls, Nicholas Jaweit, Max Harper, Jonathan Zorlin, Kyler Anderson, Billy Kidd, Alexander Rowe, and William Flickinger. Boom, baby.
That's how you do it to start this new year, baby.
And unlike Heat 3, 3 wide at the front of the field, and it's 4 the race lead. Darian Ton wasting no time. Now, we saw Jeff Leffler in the last heat lead the first 6 laps uncontested, and then he ended up finishing 27th. So do you want to try and lead as long as you can, or do you need to perform that cycle and get to the front? But we also saw with Zorlin, which was a heartbreaking thing to see him get eliminated in just a heat race. Zorlin went from being 4 wide in 4th at 2 to go to finishing 31st. You know, 4 wide, you just go straight to the back.
I think being 4th or 5th on the inside line coming to the last lap might be able to get you that transfer spot. Comparing the cycle, as you see 4 wide, not wasting any time. 6th, looks like.
We got a lot of triple-digit numbers here at the front. So far, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 triple-digit numbers in the main event. 1 triple-digit number advancing in Heat 1, 3 advancing in Heat 2, 0 advanced in this past heat. And we've got just 1 single-digit number. That's the one of Will Parrish that has advanced. And 1 single-digit number has been eliminated, the 8 of William Flickinger. But there's only 9 single-digit numbers, Vince. It's a pretty small
percentage, yeah.
Sampling size.
Right, sampling size and the percentages will also fluctuate. But it seems like right now you were talking about the cycle, Zach. It seems like people are going to try to cycle this out in the front. But Darian Ton and Sheldon Russell are going to go down this backstretch battling.
They continue to hold side by side. Now, if you can hold if you hold 2 lanes at the front of the field and you've got loyal draft partners, you can hold that too wide for several laps. But Amanda Evans and Natalie White made moves, and Amanda Evans is going to jump to the top of the board with help from Zoe Summers. So a lot of female drivers at the front here in heat number 4, Vince.
We know Amanda Evans knows how to get down a plate track. That's for sure.
They are 4 wide craziness behind them.
Gotta keep it together, though. As you see Zoe Summer peeking the nose underneath.
And lap 4, Vincent, look who's on the inside line there in that 24 machine, Keith Rich. He started last. And that just shows you how long it can take to cycle it up to the front. 4 laps, 5 laps, 6 laps, maybe.
Oh,
Oh, there they go! Carter Joey's involved.
Let's see.
Teppensaw, Onjak, Fitzwater, Nina Hick. They are all going to keep it going. Corey Raymond, Landon Smith Jr., Ron Bishop, Daniel Dill, Alex May, Mitchell Collins, Cara Bell. Bell goes from last to 24th. Now the real question is, who's going to bring it down the pit lane? Landon Smith Jr. is likely done. Fitzwater will keep it on the track. He is showing 31st. Actually, no, he would be 30th because Landon Smith hit the line 30th. Teppensaw stays out on track, but he's on the apron. Onjak stays out on track, but he's on the apron. Carter Joey is done. And it's a battle for the lead between Evans and David Dixon.
Dixon looks like he's got the run, and now it seems like everyone is. Yeah, it's definitely strung out. It might be like 17 in this pack.
Sadly, I think Onjak is done along with Teppensaw. As Nina Hick has passed Fitzwater for 30th.
I think Fitzwater's in trouble unless he has the pace.
Oh, and something
Max.
else has happened. Max Anderson has been wrecked, and he's coming to pit lane. Chase Abbott is down the pit lane, and he's done. There was another incident.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked pretty thin.
Oh, Fitzwater's going to pit, though.
Oh, we got chaos.
Onjak is still limping, but there was a secondary incident. Is anybody else coming to pit road? We'll have to see what that secondary incident was. Onjak is heavily off the pace.
I think he's done. Unless something.
And Fitzwater is showing up 31st and retired. And that's going to knock him out of it.
Peter's done too. I think that's 2 big names. Another 2 big.
Corey Raymond is 28th. Nina Hick will be 29th. Will Onjak be able to jump anybody, or is he stuck in 33rd?
He jumped one person, but I think
He's done. Well, that
It's
is
official.
very, very unfortunate. So the 44 Carter Joey, the 940 of Landon Smith Jr., 87 of Onjak, 100 of Teppensaw, who won a heat race last year, and the 59 of Fitzwater. So 3 big names there. Fitzwater, Teppensaw, and Onjak all eliminated here in heat number 4.
part of the game, Zach. But back at the front, how about Dixon? He seems to have the pace right now. And
Amanda
can't
Evans.
anyone out.
Evans has fallen down to 10th. And she continues to fall. It'll be 2 laps to go this time by. Mikhail Skalicki is up to 2nd. Bobby Rackman's up here. Stephen Paul at the 3rd. Ryan Brommer. 2 laps to go.
Now, where do you want to be? And they're looking at 4 wide for the race lead? No, they settle it back to 3. Promer leads, though.
We have had 3 photo finishes so far in every heat. 15 1,000ths of a second in heat 1. 15 1,000ths of a second again in heat 2. 3 1,000ths of a second in heat 3. Can we get it any closer here in heat 4? Or is this the first heat where maybe somebody will finish by themselves at the start-finish line?
I don't know, man, but right now it seems like everyone's still jockeying. We still got 4 wide. It's like Sheldon Russell, I think, is looking for the... Ooh. Nope, still Brommer. White flag's out.
Brommer gets it by a hair over Mikhail Skalicki at the line. White flag is out. Amanda Evans has been put 3 wide. That's AJ Fagan looking for 3rd with Roy Ribbleton right there. He's currently in 5th. Can Evans get enough draft? Or will she get put to the top 3 wide? She's going to choose to go to the top 3 wide.
Here we go.
Oh, look
4
at
wide.
this. Skalicki cleared.
There's Rippleton. He's looking for second.
Evans is up top 4 wide. Wade Pruitt's going to get up into the top 5, but Skalicki's going to win by himself. Oh, and they were just catching Nina Hick, too. That could have been dangerous. But it's going to be Mikhail Skalicki, Roy Ribbleton, Wade Pruitt, AJ Foggin, and Austin Nash advancing it into the main event.
Great race, Zach, and I think this is a good indication that you want to be somewhere between a top 4 to 8 on the inside line. I think on that last lap.
Yes, indeed. I believe so. Evans, I think, just made the bad call. She got the big run. She should have gone to the middle, not the top. That relegated her to a 12th place result, but we will see her in the last chance qualifier. Those results are official. Getting eliminated will be, as said before, Fitzwater, Teppensaw, Onjak, Landon Smith Jr., and Carter Joey. So a tough break for all of them, but we'll take you guys to see what the 2 wrecks were in this heat race, because this was the first one with 2 incidents. Well, here's what happened with the first accident. Carter Joey is barely going to get clipped by Peter Onjak here, man. It is so bare. I mean, look at this. This is... Onjak gets a bit of a run, and he starts coming up alongside of him. And right about here, the contact's going to start. Yeah, there it is. They're together, and then they just... Oh, Joey just doesn't get the turn for the corner.
Get off each other. Yep.
Hard licks into the outside wall. Oh, and Fitzwater got turned up into it at the end there. That's a tough break for all of those drivers. I believe we will have an onboard for Fitzwater, but we want to see what the other incident was, because something else occurred. And look at the race winner was down on the apron to miss that one.
That's definitely riding on the edge right there.
So let's see the other incident.
Max Anderson, I think, was something along that line.
Oh, and Skalicki actually door slammed Bobby Rackman trying to come back up the track. That's pretty crazy. Oh, I want to say it involved Chase Abbott. Oh, he was down pit road the next lap, so this has to happen somewhere along up here.
Another 4 wide gone wrong. Let's see.
Yeah, this is going to occur with Max Anderson, like you said. Oh, they were looking at 5 wide there because the 29 was peeking the nose on the 9. So these guys really thought they were going to be 5 wide, so they closed it up. And then they were back to 4, and it was too little too late. And around they went up into the outside wall. Abbott keeps it straight and keeps going, but Anderson gets spun. Darian Ton kept it straight as well. But that just added to the smoke screen in turn 3. Nobody ends up hitting him. Collins and Bell and May all get by this. Just make sure for... I'm pretty sure he didn't get hit because we saw him going back to the pit lane.
Ooh, I think so, though.
Oh, look at the smoke screen from this camera angle, though.
Danny Dill, yep.
Yeah, I believe Anderson got it back going on with Coach. So let's take that on board with Fitzwater. On board with Fitzwater. Yeah, he just got turned into it there at the end, Vince.
Yeah, good old target on his back today, unfortunately, didn't fall asleep.
We'll see you guys for Heat 5. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the final heat race, and this is likely the most star-studded heat race we have, with Seth Cole and Donovan Cage on the front row, Jeff Bolton and Eldon Reed row 2, Olivia Reynolds, LJ Toledo row 3, Tim Randolph, Steve Pollard row 4, and Jack James and Addison Roper row 5. Going through the rest of the field, names to note include Grace Takayama, Andrew Rich, Vince Freeze, Christian Russell. Can't seem to hit somebody over here. That's Mike Black. Roger James, Enzo Nareza, Owen Miles, Hunter Braxton, Diego Yepes, Gene Sanford. I can't believe they let that man do another command. I hope they had him keep the same microphone, because I don't think we want to replace 2 microphones.
Our eardrums are shot out to those guys, those commands. But here we go, Zach. 4 heats done, 1 to go. The group of death, as I like to say, is here. I think it's going to be aggressive. I just don't see how these guys are going to play it safe. They've been waiting around the longest. I expect this to be a barn burner.
Oh, we've seen everything through the first 4 heats. Heat 1, early crash, lap 2. Heat 2, later crash, lap 5. Heat 3, clean, nobody wrecked. Heat 4, 2 wrecks, back-to-back laps. And if you're just joining us here for the end, drivers that have advanced: Keith Kent, Austin Athens, Deanna Jones, Will Parrish, Fisher Miller, Daniel Brown, Dennis Moore, James Bell, Blaine Saylor, Christian Vargas, Jacob Athens, Winnie Calhoun, Chase Christ, Levi Hayes, Kev Shearer, Mikhail Skalicki, Roy Ribbleton, Wade Pruitt, AJ Fagan, and Austin Nash. Those 20 drivers have advanced to the main event. Green flag is out. Drivers that have been eliminated include Andrew Gardner, Nicholas Henshaw, Owen Crafton, Bobo Jones, Jesse Turner, Louis Sankala, Alan Black, James Qualls, Nicholas Jaweit, Max Harbour, Jonathan Zolan, Kyler Anderson, Billy Kidd, Alexander Rowe, William Flickinger, and most lately, Zachary Fitzwater Sr., Joshua Teppensaw, Peter Onchak, Landon Smith Jr., and Carter Joey.
That's called with the early jump with Jeff Bolton in tucked behind.
But we've seen everything over this course of heat racing. Vince, we've seen the wind play a big factor in the first 2 heats. Seeing it play less of a factor here in the later heats. We saw a clean and green heat. You know, we've seen just about everything here in these heat races, and the last chance qualifier events later on in the night, whether that's tonight, tomorrow night, those events or races are sure to be interesting, and those are 20-lap events with caution flags on.
Getting pretty dicey already. 4 wides. You see Vince Freeze is making his way up there.
And there are so many star-studded names in this heat, Vince. It would be shocking if some of them don't make it through either the heat race or the LCQ. As a reminder, the LCQ, there are 5 of them, and the top 3 in each will advance, as Seth Cole gets passed for the lead by Jeff Bolton, who's got a bumper full of Vince Freeze. And Enzo Nareza up there on the inside line, but he's going to get pushed to the middle. It was a bad decision on his part to turn up the track. Alexander Underwood wasting no time. It's Brandon Mayhew in the 15. Closes up on the bumper of Bolton. Now here's a prediction, Vince. We haven't seen him wreck yet, but what a trend it would be if this was the race where they wrecked on the last lap, because in Heat 3, they went clean and green the whole heat, and then they wrecked after the heat was over.
Yeah, that would be funny. But no, I think this is one of those things where it's easy, you got to feel it out. I know we haven't talked about the main event yet, but we do have one thing I'd like to point out. It's called quarter racing because there's 100 laps. Same thing with this. You can kind of break this down into 2 stages. The first 5, last 5. First 5, feel it out. Last 5, go for it. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a wreck on the last lap.
Mayhew holding strong in the lead here. Underwood trying to hold strong in second. But here comes Owen Miles and Caitlin Coyne. That name always checks me up. 4 wide for second place.
Coin using that big coin to the front, but as you see, so we still got some 4 wide, but everyone seems to be pretty calm and behave for the most part.
It's Cam Cole there in the 007. That was originally going to be Robert Young, but Young withdrew, and they're wrecking. Vince Freeze is around, and this one is going to be the huge one.
Oh, everyone's in it, man.
Nareza gets by, Randolph gets by, Roper, Yepes, Andrew Rich gets by. Donovan Cage was involved, Vince Freeze was involved. Jack James, Seth Cole, Takayama, Blake Clay is on the apron, stuck. And on lap 5, once again, like Heat 2, huge crash. That leaves us with very little here at the front. Carl Harper went from 30th to, I think, a top 12 position. Make it 14th, top 15 position. Hunter Braxton is still up here. Cam Cole, Owen Miles, Gene Sanford, Christopher Abel, and others. Grace Takayama is going to bring it in. Trenton Hill has brought it in. Addison Roper is on the pit lane. And Vince Freeze will bring it in. That's a tough break for all of those drivers involved. And Vince Freeze has retired from the event. He has been eliminated. 4 laps to go. Mayhew with a strong commanding lead right now over Christopher Abel, as they have driven away from Austin Tyler and the others. Trenton Hill is also retired. Go ahead, Vince.
Yeah, tough break there, but that's part of the game. I think it's with the short amount of people in this, I think the moves are going to be less volatile. I think you want to be top 4 if you're in a single file line at that last lap. If you start going triple, double file, maybe 7th, 8th, but I don't expect the moves to be crazy because we only have maybe 11, 12 cars here.
And the 220 of Addison Roper brought it in and retired as well. So those 5 drivers with the heavy damage from that will be eliminated. Everybody else will be good to go. I don't think Blake Clay will continue. His car seems okay-ish, but even if he does continue, he wouldn't have enough laps if somebody else were to retire. So he is likely eliminated. But Mayhew looking strong like Jeff Leffler did in heat number 3. He's got Austin Tyler right behind him. Thorson coming up in 3rd. Olivia Reynolds is currently 4th, but Owen Miles and Eldon Reed are on the inside line. Not a lot of drivers here, Vince. Only 13, as Mike Black and Hopper are out of range. But all these drivers will have a chance in the LCQ. That was the main thing about getting away from that accident somewhat unscathed, was so that you could continue and race in the last chance qualifier. 2 laps to go. Mayhew put to the top by Tyler for the race lead.
I think Mayhew, I don't know, man. He's got a strong car, but once you get past that dirty air, you tend to fall back. But here comes Owen Miles.
Tyler moves up to the top. Miles will get to his inside. Braxton is up top, 4 wide. That is not good news for him. White flag will be out this time by... We might have a lap down car in the works of the 160. As Tyler clears, Usman Hamid might become a problem. We haven't seen lap cars play a role at all in the heat races.
I don't know. I think Austin Tyler's just got to continue to play it safe and keep blocking those lines. I just don't think the runs are going to be as strong as we enter 3 and 4 one last time.
Tyler seems to have it in the bag. That leaves it to Mayhew, Miles at 2nd, 3rd. Coyne and Reed 4th and 5th. Is Christopher Abel going to sneak his way in over Eldon Reed? That's what we're looking at as Tyler wins the heat race. Oh, I think Reed got it. And he did get it.
The lapper.
Just missed the lapper once again. Reed gets it over Abel by 10/1000ths of a second. That's pretty close. And Miles made a last-ditch effort for the win there, 56/1000ths of a second. Austin Tyler gets it over him. So far, Vince, looking at who has made this race. Of course, the 26 of Fisher Miller. That car was fast last year with Cole Deaver. You know, a lot of guys that don't usually make this event are making it in. And we've had guys that have made it being eliminated. And that's the case again here in heat number 5. Vince Freeze, Grace Takayama, 2 drivers of note. Steve Pollard actually pit near the end of that thing and fell a lap down, but he was safe. So that is going to do it for us in heat number 5. And we'll see you guys either tonight or tomorrow night for the last chance qualifier races. Just think today, 5 races of 10 laps. Tonight or tomorrow night, 5 races of 20 laps. Expect a much longer broadcast, to say the least.
It's gonna be a packed action, hot and heavy coming here at Pensacola. But how about for the first time this year, the real sign off for the day?
All right. Well, actually, we have an accident to review, so let's go to that first. Taking a look at what caused the accident. Vince Freeze and Trenton Hill were in the middle 4 wide, and you guys know how it goes. It's been going this way all day long. And it was a push-up there earlier on the straightaway, right up in the Jeff Bolton. And really, nobody had anywhere to go for this one.
Wrecking in the back, too. They started to get...
Yeah, they wrecked in the back, too, beforehand. So 2 separate instances of 4 wide causing crashes here in this one. But a lot of drivers also able to make it through this because of that. But that took out a lot of drivers. Both of the PlayStation cars were involved. Seth Cole and Grace Takayama. Takayama, of course, eliminated because of this accident. Let's take an onboard with the 20 of Vince Freeze. On board with Vince Freeze. Vince Freeze has been eliminated. We will see you guys next time for the last chance qualifiers.